Evan, good morning.
Good morning, Rob. We're all set up to do whatever it is we're about to do, right?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you're going to make this morning. It is
Yeah,
it's 9 a.m. in Santiago, Chile. It's 6 a.m. in San Jose, Costa Rica, and we're going to make something beautiful using AI today, correct?
that's right. I mean, we could talk about some of what we've done before. You and I first met in at the AMISA conference in Panama, where we were each presenting on different things that we do. And I was presenting on building apps with AI tools. And so this is something that I do on a regular basis, and it's something that I enjoy. The idea here is that I think you have an idea for something. You've played around with what you tried to build and tried to build something yourself, and we thought it would be fun to try to build something in real time and share that with people out in the interwebs.
Excited to get into it. I want to see you get going. I believe what we can do is I can start by just saying the idea that I had. I made a tool using your scripts, using your whole layout for how teachers can use AI to make tools in the classroom. I thought of an actual problem that I deal with in my classroom, and I attempted to make the best version of a tool that I could. And I believe today I'm going to tell you this problem, and we're going to give you 10 minutes and 10 prompts to see if you can make something even better or different or however we want to describe it.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Let's make it happen.
All right, so here's the deal. I've been a language arts social studies teacher for many years. I'm currently teaching entrepreneurship and design. But one thing I love to do, and you probably know this about me, is I love grouping and collaboration in the classroom. I love getting kids up, moving around the room, and connecting and talking with one another. And one reason we struggle with that is that can be a logistical nightmare. So here's what I did. I have something called Power Team, where kids get up, they have notes. Maybe they had a guided notes that they were filling out. Maybe they were working on a worksheet. But instead of just all doing it independently, they start independent. They take notes on top of it. They put discussion symbols or things to get them thinking about what's in front of them. They get up, they move around the room, and they have 30 seconds to connect with somebody, share an idea, steal an idea, however we want to say it. And then I want them to move and find another person. Now we can already picture what that might look like. It could be a total logistical nightmare. There's groups of five in one part of the room. Some people aren't talking. One person doesn't have a partner. So my challenge is to get them up, connecting with somebody for a specific amount of time, and then move and find another person to partner. So my idea for a project or a tool would be to have a timer for the amount of time that I want the activity to be done. So maybe it's a 5 minute activity in class and another timer that says how much time I want them to meet with a student. So they move around the room, they're matched with a particular, so I pictured it as a list of the classroom. And when I say start that timer of the activity, it's also setting the timer for how long they can meet. So it would say, Evan and Rob, we'd get together, we'd have 30 seconds to meet, and then we would get switched with another partner. So everyone always has a partner. They know who they're working with, but also how long they have to work with that person.
And I assume the idea would be that someone is not ever matched up with the same person. It's always different.
That's our hope is hopefully that it constantly moves them with a different person depending on how many people are in the room. If there's only 10 people and you have a 20-minute move around, eventually they may be partnered with the same person, but the hope is that they're constantly connecting with a different person.
Okay. And a group of three is okay in the case that you can't do a partner. Like, We're specifically looking for one-on-one conversations, is that right?
Yes, and that was a rule that I tried to make with it was that there's nobody ever left outside of a group. So if it needs to be a group of three, so be it.
Awesome. And how do you envision getting the names of students into this app? Do you have a
I
spreadsheet where you copy and paste in? Do you want to like real time type them in based on who's in the room?
I would like just a simple text box where I can copy and paste the names just directly into it and then save that so I can then have a drop down to then access the classes from the past.
Well, should we start this
Other
timer and
questions? Anything else you want to know about it?
no, I think let's just start.
But here's what I'll
See.
do, just make it interesting. I have a timer. I'm setting it to 10 minutes. Evan, you have 10 minutes and 10 prompts. You're welcome to ask me questions as we go along, but I want to see what you can do in that amount of time. Are you ready?
Sounds good.
All
Ready to
right,
go.
Evan, let's get started.
All right. So first thing, I'm going to bring you into my tool of choice, which you know is Google AI Studio, which has access to a bunch of different models. And down here at the bottom, I'm just going to start typing my prompt. And so let's go to it. I think I'll type a bunch and then talk about what I'm putting in.
Saying I want to build a tool that helps me manage classroom interactions during a class block. The idea is to set a time for an activity that I want students to be having conversations.
Change this to a total time. So a total time for an activity that I want students to be having conversations. And those conversations will each also be a set time. Okay. And so what I'm doing is I'm explaining sort of the context of the problem, which will help AI understand. This is not just a timer. It's not just a group generator. Like there's a reason why I'm giving it all this context because that's going to be part of the design. So as a teacher, I want to set the total time and the time for each meeting. I want I want to maximize the number of students that each student gets to talk to. And so I want to build an app that helps me organize and run this activity in real time, ideally on a screen at the front of my classroom. Okay. So we'll talk about some elements of how you use this. And so I want to be able to paste in names, one per line, into a text field on a web page. The app should take those names, as well as maybe I want to make a class name so that I can save this for later. So I can save the names and load them into the app. Okay. And let's see, I want these names to persist on a page load in case, I don't know, the internet cuts out or the page reloads. I want to be able to get all those names back. Okay. There should also be a way to set the total time for the activity. And we'll say maybe that is just 10 minutes. And the time for each conversation, which we'll say is 30 seconds. Okay. There needs to be an easy place for students to see who they are grouped with. We want groups of two, but a group of three for odd numbers is fine. We want a button to be able to start the activity timer. And we could also do maybe and pause, because maybe in the middle you want to give everyone an instruction. So we'll put pause in there too. There should also be a button to maybe randomize the groups on the spot for the first meeting, because at the start of this, I'm thinking maybe you want to say, okay, the person you're going to talk to is going to be here. When I hit go, you're going to get up and you're going to run and have that conversation. So you almost want the first meeting to be set up when the timer goes. Okay. A visual timer saying how much time is left in the meeting, like an arc. I'm thinking like a circle on the screen. Um, the students can easily see from anywhere in the classroom. Okay, so we'll do that. And now, so those are some of the instructions. I think that's a good description of what we're going for. Does this match what you're looking to do here?
Fantastic. And
Yeah,
what I
awesome.
think I'm what I go ahead and hit run it when you're ready, but I think one thing here I'll let you finish your prompt.
Sure. So I'm going to do, please build me a single page HTML file that I can run from my computer. It should be self-contained so that um, I can just load that file in a web browser and run it during class. So I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
Again, 2.5 Pro, and away it goes.
One thing I was really taken back by was how much detail you're putting into that prompt. Because with my thinking, as I was making it myself, was start really, really simple. And maybe that's because I wasn't very confident with the prompting itself. But I think with your experience, you're learning ahead of time kind of what to ask for or know what it needs to know. So
Sure.
I was starting just with like timer, it shows this, and then based off of what I saw visually in front of me, I was able to then go, "Ooh, you know what I want?" But it was interesting to hear you point out certain things that I haven't told you yet that I eventually knew that I needed. You were spotting it ahead of time, which I thought was really, really cool.
And some of what I'm thinking about as this is going on is I'm trying to imagine myself using this tool. And as a designer, that's important because that's how you think about what it looks like. Like, what features do you want to have? And I think about standing at the front of the room with all the students and I'm explaining this activity. I need certain things to be really clear, like who are you going to go talk to first?
Yeah.
um, and say, okay, go. I know there's going to be a moment when I need to hit pause and maybe give everybody instructions or refine based on what I'm hearing as I'm going around the room.
Well,
Um,
did you make, I forget in your prompt, did you say something about a pause button?
yes,
'Cause I didn't. That's actually really, really cool. I want to see how that works.
yeah, we'll see. And I also didn't include that element of making sure that each student only meets people one at a time. I put it in as a description, but I didn't put it in as a programming feature. I was thinking maybe we need to do that separately. Anyway, so we saw Gemini 2.5 Pro chugging away in the background. It's quite a bit of code. It also explains how to take this code if you don't know what to do with it, how to take it, put it into a code editor, which is pretty awesome. I have a code editor ready to go, and actually an app file. So this is just running on my computer. And then I'm going to go to my Chrome and just to the other page and reload. Wow. And so this is what it came up with. Let's say this is my entrepreneurship. I was nervous about spelling that on the
I
spot.
was gonna say you chose the hardest spelling subject. You said math.
Rob, Evan, Tom, um, Mary,
Here's an
Sana,
odd number of
Rita. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's make sure that we have something like that. Let's see who else. Natalie, Timothy, because you got to have a Tim, I guess. Monty Python.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I also typically have a list of students ready to go that I can just paste in for this, and I didn't prep that. Maybe next time we'll do that. So let's save it and let's see how that works. So total activity time is 10 minutes.
Let's
Make
drop
that a
that
little bit
down to a
bigger.
really short amount of time to see what happens after it
Yeah. Let's do
finishes.
20 seconds.
Yeah, and then the
Okay.
activity time, let's make that timer's up. Let's make that
Oh
activity
no.
time like 30
Yeah.
seconds. So I want to be able to see
But
what happens. Is it
so
possible
you
to
want
do
to
it?
oh, got it. So let's do
Oh,
a two minutes and maybe
okay.
a 10-second conversation
Okay.
and see what happens. So hit start activity. Oh wow. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And it's saying time left in round. I love the circular, like I didn't think of that, that it has kind of a visual countdown.
Yeah.
I really like
The
that.
the other thing to know, do you hear the sound?
No.
So it's actually at the end of the round giving a nice beep to
What?
say that the round is up.
You didn't tell anything about sound,
I
did you?
I did not tell it to do that. Nope.
Thank you, AI.
Yeah.
And
Pretty
there's the
cool.
pause. Try pausing it.
Pause. So it pauses at the second.
Yeah.
Resume.
Did
Okay,
you
there's a little
also
delay in there, but that's okay. I don't really mind.
that round number? Did you tell it to do that?
No, it did that.
I like the round number because you can see then as a teacher how many different people have talked and connected. I
Hmm.
didn't think about that.
Well, I mean, our timer was ran out. Our 10 minutes, one prompt, we ran out. I wonder about going in and actually telling it. So a few things. Number one, can we have a way to see who has met with each student afterwards? You know, when we finish the activity, which might help us kind of see like how well did this work. I'll also put in that requirement about can we make it so that there's only one you're meeting with each person only once.
Yeah.
Or that we meet with each person only once, if possible. And we'll see what happens here. It's still beeping and going on in here. Oh, time's up. Okay, great. Let's also, while that's working in the background, let's add another person in this. Let's do Kurt. Okay.
That'll
And so we'll save the names. Okay.
you got a
And
group
so it
three.
just does groups of 3, which is great. If I hit reset early, it resets it. It still has the class name. If I hit
Yeah.
reload, it's saving all that information. Now, a common instruction that I'll give it is I'll say use local storage. Local storage is something that's built into the browser to make it so that it stores information on a page reload, or if you close the browser, that information is always there, which makes it so that, again, you don't have to type it in every single time. Yeah. So we'll try this, see what it does. You don't have to look at what it says. I usually do, but just for the purpose of timing.
It would be interesting to have a button that says like reports or something at the end where you click and then it shows who, but I don't know how visually it would show that with like who met with who or how many. But I love that
Yeah.
round counter. That was super cool.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I accidentally pasted the old code. Let's see here. Yeah, because it looks exactly the same. Maybe it is the same. Maybe there's no change there. It also doesn't record the it doesn't seem to save the minutes. So maybe that's something we would want it to have generally. Um, End activity early. Notice how it changed that name. Anyways,
Oh,
It also, you can't hear it, but it changed the beep from a really long beep to a much more pleasant, like,
You didn't tell it to do that.
no, I did not. Activity ended early. Oh, so it did make a difference. Check that out.
Whoa. Oh, that's super cool.
Hmm.
And you know what I'm thinking there is like you post that up in front of your class and have them do a reflection. Because now when
Great
they
idea.
look back and Timothy looks and he goes, okay, I met with Mary, Natalie. I barely had any time with Sana because we got but Tom, and then you ask a question, like think of one conversation you had with one where it's really hard when you say, just think back on all the talks you had and all they can remember is something they said with Tom. But now he can look at Mary and go, oh, we talked about, or give bulleted points for each of these conversations that you had. I really like that report.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah. That's
super
awesome.
cool.
That's awesome. So we can just leave it there. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
no, we've
curious.
already at first I'm gonna be totally honest. At first I was like, oh man, his isn't gonna be any good. I spent way too long working on mine. I'm then gonna have to show him something way better. But now you're showing me like there's like 5 different things on this version that I wished I could have included on mine. And it's gonna be so cool to now like adapt it together to make like one version. It's super cool. Great
But
job.
that is thanks. I mean, I didn't do
That
that.
was 3?
That was two, I think.
Well, we cheated a little. I think you're in about 13, 14 minutes, but in that time, you prompted it 3 times. I think most of the time was on that first prompt, which really shows how important that initial prompt is, and then kind of building from there.
Well, and the other thing that I'll say about this is part of why I think it was able to figure out additional features that I maybe didn't know I wanted was
Mm.
because of that context. If AI knows that we're building this for a busy teacher who's managing a class of students, what are all of the different aspects of this that
It does a lot of that legwork
yeah,
for you just in regards, yeah, seeing some of that stuff made me think that it obviously knew the broader understanding of why it would be used, which I think we don't give enough credit to AI in regards to when we give it that context. I think that may be my greatest learning of this session is like we give it that context and then we get to watch it also think for itself and then we get to be the judge of is this something I want for my classroom or not.
exactly. Do
That's
you
fantastic.
want to show what you
Yeah.
came up with?
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, because there's a couple little features that I wanna share that I don't think they're perfect, but I'm happy with. The website I've been using is codepen.io just because of how simple it is to drop in the HTML code here. And then I've been using AI Studio as well. I looked at the form that you gave us at the AMISA conference, and I literally just copied and pasted the prompt that you gave us and then kind of entered in from there. So this is a much longer session, and one thing you'll see is I actually figured out how to use the CSS file from my Ready Group Go website and to try to replicate it, which ended up looking pretty good. But here we go. Here is, I'll say reset activity just so you can see it.
I see the Ready Group Go colors and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
looks like it
So
could match perfectly.
I have a saved class in here and the ability to like delete and add. Here I have my list of students. Here, just for time's sake, I had to eventually break it down where it could either be minutes or just seconds. So when I show this to people, it would be like the full minute activity and then the rotate time is 20. I hit start activity. And one thing I noticed is I didn't want the timer to immediately start because once I click that, maybe I go, oh, wait a minute. So I wanted some sort of like button that's waiting for me to click on it to begin. So it says your activity's ready, start first round. So I start it Now, the one thing that I ended up adding is a countdown for before it starts because I realized it's going to take a while for Ruby and Franz to find each other. And
Sure.
so they would get 10 seconds to find each other, but that total activity time keeps going. The group
Mhm.
time is here. These look familiar with Ready Group Go cards. As the timer goes up, they flip, they switch, and then
It's
another
like
count.
animation.
So they have 10 seconds to find each other. Sebas and Pedro are finding each other. Okay, now you have 20 seconds to meet. I don't have a pause button, which is such a great idea. I do have a regroup now. So if I just want to shuffle them in the moment, I can do that. It gives another 10, and I had to tell AI to not end the entire activity until the grouping time is up. So as you can see, the finishing round is done, but I want them to finish up no matter what, so they don't get cut off like
Mhm.
10 seconds into the conversation. And then you'll notice at the end of the grouping time, it will just say activity complete, and then that's it.
Awesome. Clean, simple. That's great, Rob.
Uh, no, I'm really happy that it actually works. I'm really happy. What I'm learning now, kind of watching you go through this process, is that idea of how much time you put into that initial prompt, where it really gave so many different ideas right off the bat. So like just kind of covering that with you really quick is like the beep or whatever
Hmm.
came from AI. The you chose the pause, but then it also gave I like that countdown wheel, that graphic that you had it
Yeah.
put in, and then the reports at the end. Gosh, that was good. Okay. So
So
I'm
fun.
I'm
You
happy
know
with
why I spend so much time playing with this.
it. No, this is fantastic. So to me, kind of wrapping this whole thing up, I'm really excited at the idea of going back and seeing the original prompt and how much time and effort that you put into it. I think the next time that we do this, or next tool that I want to make, is really putting that effort into the context of the classroom space and being a teacher and what it's really for, and getting to really see AI's perspective on what that might look like, because you never know what it's going to throw in with its own artistic spin that you say, well, actually, this could work really well.
And a major reason why I think it's good at this is that for most of the people using this, a lot of the people using this are product managers at companies who are taking user experience stories and using those to build products. And it's so powerful to be able to tell the user experience story of a teacher and what they're trying to do. And if you feed that in, and AI has been optimized to create apps using that as an input, it makes sense that it's so good at coming up with something that would be immediately useful. And that's maybe my getting on my soapbox. The reason that teachers should be trying this is that it puts them in the position of being designers in a different way than they already are. I mean, they're learning designers all the time, but thinking about the experience that the teacher has and the problems and the pain points and the struggles at trying to do things a certain way, and using this tool as a way to solve that problem for yourself,
Yeah.
um, is super powerful. And I don't know that companies in general go that route most of the time. It's usually we have this idea for a project, for a product based on our experience as a student. And so we're going to put this out there. And then at the end of the process, we're going to get some teachers to try it out and see what they think. But this is flipping that entirely by just saying
Yeah,
teachers know the experience that they're designing for, and so they are the best people to try this out and design tools that work for them.
that's fantastic. Evan, thank you so much for kind of allowing me to share my vision and share kind of a problem within my own classroom. And hopefully, some tool like this could, when teachers see that, say, well, how do I apply that to my own activities, whether that's history or math or design or anything of getting people up and moving around, but also getting inspired to think about their own problems that they deal with their own lessons or unit planning and build something for themselves.
I hope this starts something.
I
Oh,
I really hope it does. I think this is the beginning of something very beautiful, Evan.
it's going to be great. All right, Rob.
Awesome. Hey,
Thanks a
thanks
lot. It's
again.
been fun, and see you next time. And see all of
See you
you
next time.
watching next time too, if it's anybody. If it's anybody.
If you made it this far, this is incredible.
It's great.
All right, thanks, Evan.